you missed on Admiral just a little bit.
No, let me explain, just to make, if it's not geeky enough. I bought a casting of Akbar on eBay about 6 years ago that I had authenticated from the eBay photos as it had to be from original Lucasfilm molds. And actually Phil Tippett confirmed it for me that it is his original sculpt. I had my friend Frank Ippolito actually turn it into a movie quality mask. And then I thought I could make the tunic. I bought the felt that Admiral Akbar's tunic is made out of, but I also really like naval uniforms because I made myself a Master and Commander uniform. So I commissioned a replica of Lord Nelson's Admiral's uniform.
Of course you did. So now I know that I've seen you as a stormtrooper.
Yes.
With one small but important flaw on the armor.
Yes.
That was great. And then you were a Yam spirit.
I was
right?
Yes, I was No Face.
Right.
From Spirited Away.
Right.
Perhaps my all-time favorite costume.
It was one of mine as well. I remember going into the suite at your hotel room and being terrified by it.
It is. It's spooky to stand next to it.
Right.
And so today, though, I was thinking, I had so much fun in No Face and the theater, the theater that you get on the floor when you're in costume and you're meeting people in costume. It's a real two-way street. And I thought, what can I do to play around with that? So today, this afternoon at 3, we did a Adam Savage flash mob with 75 people dressed as me. There it is.
Yeah. You know, I wonder why hat prices spiked in the last 2 days.
No, those are all vacuum forms of my cowboy hat. Super accurate.
Jamie, are you in there?
No.
I was thinking that a Jamie might show up, but none did.
Oh, I know. We're all really sad about that. Talk a little bit about the game. How do you do it? So, how do people come up and find you?
Yeah. So normally when I do the incognito, when I head out onto the floor, I drop a hint as to what I might be. And then if people don't find me after a certain period of time, I drop more hints. And then I might just say things like, I'm at booth 2349. Yesterday, as Akbar, my only tweet was, I am on the floor. About a minute later, someone who I don't think read that tweet, a 10-year-old boy, looked up and saw the costume and said to his parents, that costume's so good, it must be out of Incognito. So, clearly next year my costume has to be shitty. Thinking of a bargain basement Jack Sparrow.
You guys are nominated for your 5th Emmy Award this year. You are nearly the Susan Lucci of Emmy Awards.
Oh, no. Antiques Roadshow, I think, is on their 11th or 12th nomination in the same category.
Fair enough.
One fan.
The Antiques Roadshow guy in the house, okay! Let's give it up for that pawn shop show, woo! So, I know, I hate it too. So, it's great. So, I've been nominated for a couple of awards, and until it actually happened, I didn't really understand that when you say it is such an incredible honor to be nominated alongside these people or programs or whatever, it really is like, okay, I guess if I win, okay, but if I don't, I have already been recognized. So you guys have been recognized 5 times. Do you make the speech? Do you prepare the speech every time?
No.
Well, you don't, because I do.
Because you kind of on the one hand, you feel like a schmuck. You're like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to make my amazing awards acceptance speech because I'm so great. Well, on the other hand, you don't want to be I feel like you lose no matter what.
Well, yeah, so, if you get nominated as an actor, obviously you're the one receiving the award, so you make the speech. For Mythbusters, it is a team effort, and our team is invaluable. They are family. Many of them have been with the show for the better part of the decade we've been on the air. And it's really important to us, the producers of Mythbusters, that we boil down something where everyone really feels like they've been mentioned. Because we have 25, 28 people in San Francisco that have busted their ass for 10 years. We've got 3 edit suites in Sydney, Australia at Beyond Productions, plus innumerable people at Discovery, all of whom fight for this show every single day and are just as thrilled about the results we come up with and the weird ways we want to tell the stories as we do. And it is a complete group effort, and we really want to make sure. So we do write a speech, and we really try and work on it that it would be like, like get every name out we can.
Well, I also wanted to add, I mean, the Emmys are great, but Mythbusters is a little unique as far as the shows that are out there. And, you know, we're up for Outstanding Reality Show, but, you know, we look back over what we've done over the years and how we do it. And I like to say that the thing that's unique about Mythbusters primarily is that it's about science. It's about 50% science and R&D. You know, we're investigating these things straight up. A lot of the stuff that we've run across over the years has been, you know, it's real science. It's not necessarily, you know, authoritative science, but we've discovered things. We've invented a lot of things and done a lot of creative stuff, and that's thanks to the fact that, among other things, our staff is not just a bunch of film-related people, but we have a team of researchers. And between
unlike us, a couple of members of our team actually have degrees in science.
Yeah. And so our process is not primarily focused on television production. About half of it is actually focused on the actual content of it. And, you know, when it comes to competing with, you know, I mean, we're in the same category as Antiques Roadshow and things like that. And
Antiques Roadshow, Undercover Bosses, Diners, Dives, and I can never remember.
Shark Tank is...
Shark Tank. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the category we're in is 5 different genres of television.
Right.
So who knows? It's you know, Emmys are great, but we kind of, I think, stand out on our own somehow. And you know, if there was a category for science documentary or something like that, we'd probably win it.
I have a good story about this. We had a producer come out from James Cameron's company because we were investigating filming Mythbusters in 3D, and those guys are the best at it. And they came out to spend a couple of days with us on set. And after about 4 or 5 hours on set, Cameron's representative turned to REP and said, "So let me get this straight. The experiment takes precedence over the filming?" And the producer said, "Oh, yeah, I never thought of it that way, but yes, you're right."
Let's talk a little bit about what goes into making an episode of Mythbusters, sort of from the conception. Like, this is a myth. This is something that we're interested in. Because your shows over time have become less, here's a bunch of cool things, to thematically linked things that actually tell a little bit of a story, and with the addition of the build team, like you have, you know, the show's just become, it's more narrative than it was at the beginning. And I would love to know, because it's strangely in all the years I've known you, I've never asked you this, how do you go about it? So someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I heard blah, blah, blah," or you look up on the internet, blah, 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 and then you decide, what comes next?
Well, first, before Adam answers that question, as a background, what you don't know and what you can't tell by looking at the television is if we put, you know, all of the content, the serious content on the television, about 90% of it would be on a dry erase board. That's the way that it works. So once we get our hands on something, however we get there, it's all dry erase board. The funny thing is that the television hates the dry erase board. Discovery hates the dry erase board. They won't let us do it.
Listen, the whole world hates the dry erase.
So I love the dry erase.
Yeah, that's how we nut things out, and we take a camera phone picture of it and email it around and stuff like that. But you know, that's how we plan things. As far as the selection of the story itself, it's based on, we have a number of criteria, like, you know, first and foremost, whether we find it interesting, which is great. You know, the producers and everybody involved in this are like, if you guys are going to have fun with this, if you're interested about it, it's going to make great TV. So they basically encourage us to have fun. and everything else is more connecting the dots. We have to have something that we have our hands on with, that we can actually experiment. We weed things out, like we don't do, supernatural,
We
because
still apologize for pyramid power.
Yeah.
Sorry.
by definition, those things are not testable. It's like all we can do is potentially prove a negative or something like that. So anyway.